Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back for week 5 action. We've done pretty good this year. I'm taking a look at our numbers for the NFL this season. If you've checked out our Twitter, we've already posted all of our plays for our big plays and our best bets for the opening of week 5. We're mainly doing 1 o'clock games. We have a couple 4 o'clock games. If you look at our numbers, we are 85 and 95 on the season, so a losing record overall, but we are up 26 units. If you would put $10, if you follow our bet as $10 a unit, you would be up $260 4 weeks into the season. So now, once again, we're going to go over, we already said our Sinister 6, our 6 player props that we love. We're going to go over our best bets. We have Baltimore minus 4.5. Now, this one is one I really like. I think it's a very risky pick. I think I'm going to be sweating that one more than anything else this season. But that one is one of my favorite games to bet is the Ravens against the Steelers. It's one of my favorite things to watch. Those AFC North division matchups are always so hard-hitting, and there's so much meaning to it, especially where the Ravens are at in their season. I mentioned it on our show earlier. The Ravens can sweep the NFC North the first round through and force these other teams to play catch up for the rest of the season. If they win today, they'll be 3-0 in conference play if you're taking down the Browns, the Bengals, and possibly the Steelers here. We don't know Kenny Pickett's status. I haven't checked anything on that, but as of right now, I think it's still listed as questionable. I still don't trust Kenny Pickett, whether he's healthy or not. This Ravens defense is not the best, but I really think that this new offense that the Ravens have put in has started to take shape. It started to fill out more, and I love the Ravens minus 4.5 in this one, so I would lock that in. I'm checking the odds right now. Odds are – well, where is it? It was here just a second ago. Odds are still at 4.5. The money has moved a lot in the Ravens' favor to cover the spread, and the line hasn't moved, which could mean some stuff, but I think this is going to be a close game. But the Ravens are going to pull this out by at least a touchdown. So give me that one. We got the Texans money line. That one is I am all in on the Texans this year. I was a big Texans fan when around the Arian Foster era. This Texans team is fun to watch. This is that team that you just can't help but root for. They have a rookie coach, a rookie quarterback, a rookie defensive player that could potentially be defensive rookie of the year. You have such a strong team that it's silently strong. I think they're going to struggle later on in the season, but the way they've played in divisional games, they've rose to the teams they've played. They took out Jacksonville, they took out Pittsburgh, and now they're playing a Falcons team that their identity is 4-yard drop down passes, and if we run it enough, hopefully it'll break down. So this is the fact that this team's on a hot streak and they're still the underdog just shows how much Vegas doesn't think of this team. This should be an easy win. I'm putting a unit on it, but I'm putting 1.5 units on the spread as well, just in case to cover the loss at any point. But I'm locking in Texans money line. That's my first underdog play that we're posting here, and we're going to start try to do an underdog every single day. We got our last pick is going to be, we mentioned on the show, Jared Goff over 233 passing yards. His line's moved up to about 238. I like it all the way up to 250. I think you got to keep the money flowing with this team. This team loves, as much as their run game has been great, this team just loves to throw the ball. And they love to throw it, Now, Amon-Ra's not in, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult. But the fact that Amon-Ra has been listed as out and his line as of an hour ago was still the same. I'm going to check in on that right now. But his line, last I caught it, was at 233.5 this morning as well. It had not moved. But if you look at where they are at, let me just pull this up. His line is moved up with Amon-Ra out. So that's really showing what Vegas thinks is going to happen. I think they think the same thing. They think this team's going to be throwing a lot in the first half. They're going to be dominating. So we take that. If we're going to do a live look in for the Bills game, as we had some money on that. If you checked us earlier, if you just saw it, Etienne just scored another touchdown, so that's 24-13. That game's essentially over. Buffalo's out of timeouts with 3 minutes left, down 11. If we're going to look in our bets that we had for that game, we had a parlay of the Buffalo to cover the spread, Lawrence over on his yards, Allen over on his yards. That one's lost just because of the spread. I don't think they're going to win this one. Also, we had 25 yards from James Cook. He is -4. There's no shot in that one. We look at one of our plays. We had Josh Allen over 225 yards. He has 272. All we need left if you guys want to tail in. Derrick Henry, 50 yards. Jalen Hurts, 200 yards passing. If we look at the rest of our bet, I'm going to actually pull something up for you guys. If you look at George Pickens' line, I just got a notification. George Pickens' line is looking really good on his receptions under. His line just jumped to 4. He's only went over this line once, and that was week 1. Everything else has been under 4.5. If you want a nice little easy play that you could probably lock in, let me check the lines at about 170 right now. I really like that. So if you could find that somewhere, get it around 170. I would take it up to 4.5. If you see it go down to 3.5, stay away from it. But there's another quick play for you real quick. George Pickens under 4.5 receptions for today's game. I'm actually dropping that in right now before that gets moved because I don't know what Vegas is thinking. Yeah, I got that. I just got that 160 on DraftKings right now for George Pickens under 4.5 receptions. So lock that in as fast as you can. We're going to look at some of our other plays for today. We have a lot of parlays today, but we also have a lot of fairly solid straight plays. So our first parlay of today is Zach Wilson 200 plus passing yards and Russell Wilson 200 plus passing yards. That one seems like an easy lock. These two teams' defense has been very weird this year. They've either been really solid or not in terms of the Jets. And Denver just has the worst defense ever. As we said last hour, the only reason this team does not have the worst defense is because the Bears and the Commanders have already played this week. Other than that, going into this week, they were the worst defense for passing. So that is an easy lock, 200 yards for both quarterback. I think Zach Wilson has another great game and kind of shuts out these rumors. Do I think it's going to make him the new star of New York? No. But you have to give this guy a couple weeks to get into this offense. And now that he's into this offense, he has a quarterback mentor in Aaron Rodgers showing him what to do. His passing game is going to only get better and better as we go on. We also have a most yards of the game parlay that we're putting in. If you don't know what that is, FanDuel on every single game puts up a stat for certain players that either have the most passing yards, most rushing yards, most receiving yards, most touchdown catches, anything like that for that matchup. So we've been creating a parlay off that every single week. So the one we got today is Tua to have the most passing yards in the Giants-Dolphins game. CJ Stroud, most passing yards in the Houston game. Jared Goff, most passing yards in the Carolina game. And McCaffrey, most rushing yards in the Niners-Dolphins game tonight at 8:20. I really like this. I think even if they take a big lead, I don't think it's going to be another 70-20 game. The Dolphins are still going to be throwing going into the fourth quarter, even though I think this game will be a blowout. That one should be easy. Daniel Jones has not been able to do anything this year with that offensive line. Going to the next game, CJ Stroud has been dominant. He's thrown for over 300 yards, I think, every game this season. And Desmond Ridder cannot throw the ball. He's hit over 200 twice. He hasn't hit past 250 once yet. He's only hit it once. He hit it in the Packers game. Jared Goff versus Bryce Young. That should be an easy lock. Jared Goff to get most passing yards. I think a lot of people are thinking the Panthers are going to be passing a lot, and this is a very bad defense they're going against. But I fully think that this game will come down to – I'm sorry – they just score. Good God. They already scored right back. If you guys are watching this game, they just went down the field in 3 plays, the Bills, and they just scored. Gabe Davis went off. Deontay Hardy went off. And then Josh Allen just rushed for a touchdown. So we are back to a 5-point game with 2 minutes left. It was 2 minutes and 43 seconds left. They went down the full length of the field in 30 seconds. So if you took that Jacksonville spread like Mr. Joe the Show did, I'd be sweating that a little bit right now. And then we got one last play to kick you guys. We have two last plays actually. We're gonna go over one more spread play I love, and then we're gonna go over our full send it play this week. So our spread play is going to be the Dolphins -9.5. I caught that early, full disclosure. So if you don't want to take that, I wouldn't blame you. 13.5 seems like such a sketchy line. I hate taking 2 touchdown lead spreads, but I caught this at 9.5 and 7.5 earlier in the week. This is what I always stress: if you can take games for the next week on Monday, and the team is playing Monday Night Football, one of the teams playing Monday Night Football, take that spread as best you can, because the lines will only jump crazier and crazier because it's the last game of the week. And our last play, and we're going to wrap up here, is we have our full send Prize Picks play. We put a 5-leg Prize Picks entry in, and we see what we can do with that matchup and see how much money we win. We are 1-2 right now. Excuse me, I would say 1-1-1 because we won all 5 in 1 week. We lost all 5 1 week. And then we put up a 3 of 5 to get some money back. So we're still up, but we are not we haven't won 2, we've only won 1. We got a round robin win for 1. So this week's is Zach Wilson over 29.5 passing attempts, Puka Nacua over 61.5 receiving yards, Cooper Kupp over 5.5 receptions, CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Ayuk over 124.5 receiving yards combined. And a personal play I put in there because it's the first time I've seen it. If you haven't heard me say it yet, a guy from one of my hometown schools made the NFL. He's a rookie punter for the Rams, Ethan Evans. They just put a lineup for him on Prize Picks for the first time ever. I've been looking for it just to see because you can't find him on any other sports books. So I took Ethan Evans to get over 4 punts today. Just that was more of I didn't really care if it wins or not. I thought it was cool just to put someone from my area, first person in my area that's ever made the NFL, into a parlay. So that one's for you, Ethan. Part of me hopes you hit it, part of me hopes you don't, but had to give the shout out there. So once again, that's Zach Wilson over 29 passing attempts, Ethan Evans over 4 punts, Puka Nacua over 61.5 receiving yards, Cooper Kupp over 5.5 receptions, and CeeDee Lamb and Ayuk over 124.5 receiving yards. Lock those in. Get your bets in. Follow us on Twitter at Gotham Gambling. Let us know your best hit of the day. Make sure you send us a message, retweet one of our posts, and tell us your best hit of the day, your lock of the day. I love seeing what everyone's posting. Make sure to follow us on Pick'It as well. All of our plays are public with full transparency. You can see everything we bet down to the dollar. So please check us out there. Please show some love and give the page a follow. Please make sure you follow us again at For Frequency's Sake and at For Fantasy's Sake. And best of luck.